Welcome to Eco Tips and Designs, your go-to source for smart construction tips, creative DIY ideas, and practical engineering insights. Whether you're a builder, designer, or just curious, there's something here for you.
Welcome back to our Complete AutoCAD course for beginners, part 3. In this course, we'll be talking about the modified tools: the trim, copy, move, extend, rotate, mirror, and offset, and even the fillet tool. Here in your AutoCAD page, you can see the modified tool. It is located here at the top. If you click the drop down here, you see all the functions in the modified tool. These functions are dependent on what you want to do and how you use AutoCAD. Remember, in our previous video, we talked about the drawing tools. We talked about learning AutoCAD by yourself by simply placing your cursor on the tool or function you want to use, and AutoCAD will tell you how to use it. If I want to draw a circle, AutoCAD will tell me how to use it. It tells me, number one, I click on that spot and I input my diameter. For circle creation or radius, you can see here, tell me number one, I click on the center. Number two, I click on the outside part and then I input the value of my radius. AutoCAD is self-explanatory. Let's dive into today's course and let's learn how to use the modified tools. From our previous video here, we have drawn a lot. We talked about the donut tool, we talked about the rectangle tool, we talked about the polygon tool. Now, if we want to, let's start from the first one, the move tool. The move tool is simply using a shortcut. You can press M to use the move tool and you click on it. Now, AutoCAD has improved. The newest version I'm using the AutoCAD 2020. The newest version of AutoCAD could be a bit better and different. So if you simply want to learn how to use them, read what is written on AutoCAD, the instructions. You can see it tells me select object. I'll just select it, and in this version you just right click and it tells me select the base point. I'll put on my, remember we talked about the object snap tool. I'll put it on because I want it to snap at this corner. You see, it automatically snaps, and I'll then move it to wherever I want to move it to. If I move it to the right, you can see. If I want to move this, you can highlight it. This is another way. When I highlight it, I come to the move tool, I click on it. Listen, see what it shows. It says specify base point. You click on it, and you see my auto mode is on, so I'll have to off it, so I'll be able to move at an angle, and I'll move it to this point. This is how to use the move tool. You either select the object first or you select the tool first. Whichever you select, just look and allow AutoCAD to teach you by itself. Follow the instructions. It's very simple. Now we move to the rotate tool. The rotate tool, as its name implies, is to rotate objects. Let's rotate this polygon. No, let's use the rectangle. I'll click on, I told you, either click on the object first or you click on the tool first. So let's use this. No, let's use this. Move. Escape. Yes, I'll click on the tool first, and then it tells me select the object. I click on the object, and then I right click. Now it tells me specify base point. What is the base point of rotation? I want to rotate at the midpoint of this rectangle. So you see what I just did. I used my object tracking move to get the midpoint of my rectangle. So I'll just click on it and then put on my snap tool so that I'll get my 90 degrees or accurate rotation at 90 degrees. So you can see I'll then left click to position it where I want to. This is how to use the rotate tool. Either select the object, you click on the tool, just specify base point. I'll use my object tracking. If I turn it off, you'll see that blue line will not show. You can see. But if I turn it on, it shows me. I'll come over to this point and back. That's it. I'll then click on it. You see, and then I'll rotate it again. That's for the rotate tool. Now the trim tool. If you look here, the trim tool has two functions. It has the trim and the extend. Trim and the extend. In the AutoCAD 2025 and advanced other higher level upgrade of AutoCAD, you just click on this tool and then you start trimming. But in lower versions of AutoCAD, you have to select the tool. If I click on the trim tool, it tells me select object. I would write, it doesn't mean you have to select this particular object. Although if you want to trim with reference to a particular object, then you have to select that object. But if you want to trim any portion of your drawing, remember, any area of your drawing, then you just click at an open space, not to a particular object or line. Just right click, and then you can start trimming. Okay, let me use one of these drawings I have here. Good. Now we have the drawing. Allow me to delete this. This is a real drawing. So I want to trim this line here. So I'll click on my trim. I'll right click on any open space, and then I can start trimming. You can see, I can trim. I can trim here, but that's wrong. I can trim here this portion. Then in the other part, second part of the trim tool, you either click the extend, and then you right click on an open space, and then you can extend the line. You can extend this line to this point, extend this line to this point. You can see how to use the extend tool. And then I'll right click and hit enter. Also, if you want to trim with reference to a particular object or line, then you have to select that line. Now I want to trim with respect to this line. Okay, I'll use this one. I'll use this one. I will select the object, and then I'll select the trim tool. And whatsoever is touching this object, I can trim it. But if that object, any other line is not touching that object, I can't trim that line because it's not in connection with our reference object. Let me take, for instance, I have a circle here, and I want to trim with reference to this circle. I'll select the circle and I'll select the trim tool, and I can trim anything touching that circle. Any line touching that circle, I can trim it. Any line touching that circle line. Remember, it has to be continuous. If it is continuous, I can trim it. So if I come over here and trim, you can see I can't trim it. But if I click on the trim and I click on an open space, I can trim anywhere on my drawing. Anywhere on my drawing, here, here, anywhere on my drawing, I can trim. Remember, you need to know how to use them. There are two functions I'm using here. One is to trim in general, and the second is to trim with reference to a particular object. The same thing with the extend tool. You could click on it, or even if you're in the extend tool, you want to trim, you just hold down the shift key, and you can do the reverse of the function, either trim or extend. You see, I'm extending, but if I hold down my shift key, I can trim. That's for that. Let's move over to the copy tool. The copy tool is a very easy tool to use. You just click on it and select the object you would like to copy, and then you select the base point by right clicking, and then you can copy. I have to take this off, and then you can see I can copy it. Now let's go back to our sample drawing. I want to make copy of this particular object in arrays. I will click on the copy. I will click on the copy tool. I will select my object. I will right click. You can look down here. It says displacement mode, displacement and mode. So I will select the point at which I want to copy, and I will left click, and then I will put my distance between the points I want to copy for. Let me say 300 mm. I'll hit enter. Remember, it is center to center. I selected from the center, so it to the center is to give me the same thing. If I want to maybe say 1 meter, let's use 1 meter, 1 meter center to center. You can see that. Now, this is I want to make an array of this, which is a continuous, a longer quantity of this copy of this circle. I will click on the copy tool. I'll click on the circle, and then I will right click to specify my base point, and then I will come here. I will click on this, and if you look down here, we have the array option has come up. So you remember in our previous video I told you, if you look at the first letter, it's colored blue, meaning if you input that letter in your command tool and you hit enter, that will be the function. So let's say A, That's for array, and we hit enter. It will ask us enter number of items to array. So we want to make an array of 10 copies. So we'll say 10 copies. We hit enter, and then we'll simply move to this point here and click, or we simply specify the distance. If you specify the distance 1 meter, hit enter. It automatically makes a copy, an array of that. There are other ways of making your arrays. They are in the other functions here. But this is the simplest function for general drawing. Now let's move on to the mirror tool. As the name implies, the mirror tool is used to mirror an object. Let's come over here. And let's come over here. Let's use this circle for instance. I want to mirror this circle at a distance of, let's say, 1 meter from the center. I'll just get the center. I'll click on this to get center. I'll click on this and then this. Now I have the center. Select the mirror tool. It will tell me select object. I'll select this entire object, and it will ask me to specify. Look down here. Select object, specify opposite corner. So I'll right click to get to specify my corner, and then I'll come over here, and then I'll click, and then I will pull my hand down because I want it to be in the opposite direction. If I pull my hand this way, you can see it's not going to show because I want it to be in the opposite direction. I'll either pull it up or pull it down, and that asks you erase source object. If you want to erase the source object, means you want to delete this source object, you say yes. If you don't want to delete it, you say click on no, or you type N and hit to enter. You'll see you have created this mirror. It's the same thing in any form. Let's do this quickly. I just want to mirror this at a distance of from here to here. You say I just click that. Click. I don't want to delete. I want to delete the source. I'll click here. No, I don't want to delete it. And the same thing here. I want to delete the source. Yes. And you see the source has been deleted. Now the fillet tool, chamfer, bend, curve tool. They are all almost the same thing. Remember our learn AutoCAD yourself. You either put your mouse on the cursor on the tool and AutoCAD will teach you by itself. And let's move over to using this tool. Now if you want to make a simple curve here, a very small curve here, and you want to use the fillet tool, you click on the fillet tool. You can see here it has the radius trim multiple. So we would like to create or input our radius. First, let's type R to input our radius and you hit enter. Remember the initial radius is 0. That is the default radius. So we'll input our initial radius of let's say 400 mm and hit enter. And then we select the two lines. We want to make that chamfer of this and the second one, and you see you get a beautiful chamfer. If you want to repeat the same function, you just hit the space bar key and you select the two lines. You can see you're having a beautiful chamfer here. Good. Let's move over to the stretch tool. The stretch tool is very simple. If you want to stretch an object, you simply select the stretch tool, select the region you want to stretch, and you right click, and then you specify your base point. I want my base point to be here, and then I will stretch it. I don't need to, I'll just stretch it and say maybe let's stretch for 1 meter, and then hit enter. It has been stretched for 1 meter. And then the next thing here is our scale. Remember, we are dealing on the modify tools for today. I'll try to be fast to deal on all of them. The scale tool is used to scale an object to either size, any size you want. Now I want to scale this object. I want to reduce it by 50%, which is half. I'll just click the scale tool, highlight everything. I will then say select object. Now for me to specify my point, remember you right click. That's to specify your base point. I'll just randomly select this corner as my base point, and then I will either rescale it manually, or I will just input my value. I want it to be reduced by 50%, which is 0.5. I'll just say 0.5 by half. 0.5, I'll hit enter. You see, it has been scaled down by half. If I want it to increase by 2 times this size, I'll just hit my scale tool. I select it, right click, left click, and then I'll right click to specify my base point. I specify my base point here, and then I will hit, let me say 3. I want it to be 3 times the size. I'll say 3 and hit enter. And that is it. You see, it's even bigger than this previous one. Now, remember we talked about the array tool, and we used it here. We use it here. Now there are other advanced ways to do arrays. This function here explains to you how to use that function. If you want to make arrays along the path, if you want to make arrays along a circle, I want to make this is a circle. I want to make this along this part, so I'll come over here. Remember, AutoCAD is able to teach you anything you want by yourself. I want to make this array along this part. So select object, right click, select my part, and you can see this is it. This is how to use the array. Now you can specify the distance between each of them. Let's say 2 meters, and that is it. This is how to use it. Most of these functions are very easy to use. Most of them I don't use them, but immediately I put my hands on them, I'm able to use them because AutoCAD is easy to learn with eco tips and designs. Now there are other functions here. I'll give you the homework to go and learn how to use them by yourself. You can just remember, put your cursor on the tool and you will automatically get an instruction. Look at the instruction on how to use it. Look at the command bar on other instructions on how to use it. Let's quickly recap. Remember, we have talked about the move tool, the rotate tool, the trim tool, the copy tool, the mirror tool, the chamfer tool, the stretch tool, the scale tool, and the array tool. That's it for the modified tool in AutoCAD for today. Practice these commands. They are essential for speed and accuracy. If this video helped you, please hit the like button and subscribe to follow for the next part where we'll cover layers, objects, and properties. If you have any question, drop them on the comment section. I will reply. Thank you for watching and keep creating. Bye for now.